What's good, guys? It's Alissa. If you're new here, hello. I wish I could put into words just how excited I am to make this video for you guys today. For those who don't know, Gravity Falls is a show that follows twin siblings Dipper and Mabel Pines as they stay with their grunkle Stan for the summer in a strange town called Gravity Falls. Dipper finds a mysterious journal that documents all the weirdness of Gravity Falls, and he decides to spend his summer uncovering all the mysteries from within the journal. Now, the show only ran for 2 seasons respectfully, but it was very strong with the goal of telling the story of the Pines family and uncovering the mysteries of Gravity Falls. But the episode that I want to go over today is actually the very first episode of Gravity Falls that I've ever seen, which is season 1, episode 12, titled Summerween. This episode scared the living hell out of me when I first saw it, so just like my last Halloween themed video, I want to uncover if this episode of Gravity Falls is rationally or irrationally scary. The episode starts with Grunkle Stan taking Dipper, Mabel, and their handyman Seuss to the Summerween superstore to shop for decorations.
Summer what?
Summerween! The people of this town love Halloween so much they celebrate it twice a year.
Since Dipper and Mabel are new to Gravity Falls, they are unaware of this holiday. But when Seuss explains that there will be free candy and costumes, Dipper and Mabel are all in.
You paid for the stuff, right?
Of course!
I hate Summerween.
Their Grunkle Stan is excited for this holiday because he gets a kick out of scaring kids who come to his door. Dipper and Mabel are excited for this holiday just as they are for Halloween because they are the self-proclaimed kings of trick-or-treating. But Seuss warns them to be careful because there is a monster that roams the night who eats children who lack Summerween spirit, called the Summerween Trickster. Dipper isn't worried because he and Mabel have enough spirit to go around, but that might not be the case this year. When Dipper's crush Wendy comes to the door with her boyfriend Robbie, Robbie pokes fun at Dipper for holding a bowl of candy, scoffing that he better not be going trick-or-treating. Wendy sticks up for him, saying of course he's not going trick-or-treating, and invites him to a party that she and Robbie will be going to tonight at 9 p.m. Dipper, wanting to be like the older cool kids, immediately disowns the idea of dressing up and going out trick-or-treating with Mabel. When Mabel's friends Grinda and Candy arrive, Mabel can't wait to show off her and Dipper's matching costumes. But to Mabel's surprise, Dipper isn't in costume. Not sure how to break it to Mabel that he wants to go to the party, he instead pretends to be sick in an attempt not to go trick-or-treating with Mabel and her friends. Things get spooky when there is a sudden knock at the door. Expecting it to be trick-or-treaters, a tall looming figure with a pointed hat is standing there when Dipper opens the door. Of course, they believe that this is just a grown-up who, as Dipper stated, is too old to be doing this, dressed up in a creepy costume. The creature does not appreciate the kids playing in his face and quickly shows them that he is not there to play games.
Corny!
The kids now realize that this creature is the Summerween Trickster. To avoid Gorney's fate, the Summerween Trickster tasks the kids to bring him 500 pieces of candy before the last jack-o'-melon goes out. In a task that he coins, trick or treat or die. Dipper comes to the realization that he has no choice but to go trick-or-treating now, with the looming ultimatum of death hanging over them. But the problem is that this might take all night, and Dipper may not have time to make it to the party. Mabel is excited for this, of course, so they set out to collect all 500 pieces of candy. When they make it to the first house, they're given loser candy because Dipper is not in costume, which is throwing off the Summerween vibes. Dipper is not budging when Mabel suggests that he put on the costume so that they have a better chance of getting candy. But when the Summerween Trickster appears out of nowhere, this puts a sense of urgency into Dipper, who then decides maybe it is a good idea to wear a costume tonight. With Dipper and Mabel in their cutesy matching peanut butter and jelly twin costumes, this kicks up their candy inventory tenfold. The kids stop to celebrate 499 pieces of candy and living to trick-or-treat another day. Seuss goes to pick up the truck so they can go to the last house. Mabel, Grinda, and Candy follow suit. Dipper is left on the side of the road while he celebrates the fact that they are almost done and he has enough time to make it to Wendy's party. As Dipper is standing on the side of the road, he sees Robbie's van pulling around the corner with Wendy sitting in the passenger seat. He decides to ditch his peanut butter costume and hide the barrel of candy behind the bushes. Robbie pulls up on him, and standing cool, calm, and collected against the tree, Dipper reassures Wendy that he will be making it to her party tonight. As Robbie and Wendy pull off, we see that Mabel overheard their entire conversation. Dipper can no longer keep up the facade of being too sick for trick-or-treating because Mabel put 2 and 2 together after catching Dipper without his costume on. She realizes that the reason he didn't want to go trick-or-treating was so that he could go to the cool kids party. Realizing that they left Dipper with the candy barrel, Mabel becomes concerned because he does not have it. Dipper reassures her that he left it safe behind the—
Oh my goodness!
All 499 pieces of candy went floating down the river after falling off a cliff. Things go further downhill when they realize that all of the jack-o'-melons are out, but Dipper notices that Old Man McGucket still has his jack-o'-melon lit. They rush down the street and chase him down, trying to keep him from blowing it out, hoping that this will save them some time to collect more candy. Successfully grabbing the jack-o'-melon from Old Man McGucket, they let out a sigh of relief. Sealing their own fate, the Summerween trickster comes to claim their lives. Molding his body into nasty shapes, he snatches Dipper, Mabel, Grinda, and Candy. Just as the kids are about to be toast, Seuss comes full speed down the street, crashing right into the Summerween trickster, blowing him to bits. They celebrate their win, hop into Seuss's truck, and head home. With everything a bit cooled down, Dipper tries to have a conversation with Mabel, but she is still hurt from Dipper's betrayal. While giving him the silent treatment, Mabel notices that the bits and pieces of the Summerween trickster are flying through the air. And to their surprise, the Summerween trickster is piecing himself back together, which somehow creates an even more terrifying monster than before. This part of the episode reminds me of that one scene in Monster House where they blew up the house in that ditch and then the house starts to piece itself back together and it creates like an even scarier house. As Seuss is driving full speed to get away from the monster, his brake time is a little delayed and they crash right into the Summerween superstore. Hiding from the Summerween trickster, Mabel is still upset at Dipper for bailing on her tonight. And I thought this scene was super cute because I noticed that even though Mabel is like mad at Dipper, through all the ripping and running from the Summerween trickster, they're still by each other's sides subconsciously through this whole thing. Dipper expresses that he feels like they are too old for Halloween, which is funny because he wasn't too old for Halloween this morning when he was bragging about having trick-or-treating spirit and wearing matching costumes with Mabel. But it wasn't until Wendy said he wasn't going trick-or-treating that he decided to run with that narrative. Mabel tells Dipper that she also feels that they are getting too old for Halloween, but she wanted to dress up tonight to keep the spirit alive, but she didn't realize that their last Halloween was so soon. I'm glad they were able to have this heart-to-heart. Unfortunately, there's still a crazy monster chasing after them in the store. They hatch a plan to hide in plain sight using costumes on display in order to slip away from the Summerween trickster. Having Seuss tag along can be half helpful and half a liability. As they are just about to make it out the door, Seuss gets distracted by the Summerween decorations and decides to press down on it. This immediately grabs the attention of the Summerween trickster, who then eats Seuss alive. The kids immediately go into attack mode to save Seuss from being fully digested. As they slice and dice the Summerween trickster, his body residue falls into their mouths, and it tastes like saltwater taffy?
You really haven't figured it out yet?
Loser candy!
Throughout this episode, the kids have been dissing the candy that is left at the bottom of the bucket. The black licorice, the peanuts, and all the candy that the kids do not want on Halloween Day. The Summerween trickster is said to seek revenge on the children that cast him aside. And since no one would eat him, he now eats them. Just as the Summerween trickster is about to devour Mabel and Dipper, the helpful 50% of Seuss saves the day. Seuss, having an acquired taste for loser candy, ate his way out of the Summerween trickster's stomach. This also frees Gorny.
I've been traumatized!
What I like about this episode is that everything got wrapped up in a nice little bow, which is contrary to the previous video that I did on the Fosters episode. But the only question that was left in this episode is what the heck happened to the Summerween trickster? Other than that, Dipper realizes that he shouldn't be ashamed of wanting to do fun things with his sister, like dressing up in matching costumes. Because when they get home to the mystery shack, Wendy is there carving a jack-o'-melon and tells Dipper that the party was lame. The kids are bummed that they didn't get any candy after being out out all night, but their Grunkle Stan was able to get 2 big bags of candy after he unintentionally scared some kids and they dropped their candy as they ran away in terror. But was this episode rationally or irrationally scary? I'm gonna go with rationally scary. What scared me even now was the Summerween trickster, and like I said in my previous video, I scare easily, and as a big fan of the Conjuring movies, the Summerween trickster reminds me of the Crooked Man from The Conjuring 2, which I'm in this room by myself and I'm scared that I just said that out loud. Also, what scared me was the fact that they went for it and had the Summerween trickster eating the people alive. Gravity Falls is an overall kind of spooky show, so I'm actually not shocked that I still found this episode to be scary even now. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you made it to the end of this video, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with posts and uploads from me. And if you want to keep up with me outside of YouTube, which I always forget to shout out my socials, you can follow me on my socials, which is always in my description box, along with any music that I use in my videos or any sources and things like that. But for now, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace.
I heard a ruckus. That's a funny word. Ruckus.